Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Rabbi Shalom Yemini, and each week we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find practical and insightful ways to enhance your daily life. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Vayishlach. Our Parsha begins with Ya'akov Avinu returning home to Cana'an after more than 20 years of absence. And still fearful of Esav, Yaakov sent messengers to him with a message of reconciliation. However, they returned with a grim report. Esav was preparing to greet him with 400 men. In response, Yaakov sent him an extravagant gift of hundreds of cattle, donkeys, and camels. He split his family into two camps, so if one was attacked, the other one would be able to escape, and then he turned to God to pray. The night before he was about to come face to face with Esav, he moved his family and belongings across the Yabbok River. After everyone had crossed except for Yaakov met Esav's angel. They started to wrestle and fought until dawn when the angel wanted to go. But Yaakov refused to let him go until he blessed him. So the angel gave Yaakov a new name, Yisrael, Prince of God. However, a question comes to mind. When the messengers returned with a grim report that Esav had an army with him, Yaakov became extraordinarily fearful and distressed. As the pasuk writes, "Vayira Yaakov ma'od vayetzer lo," that Yaakov was greatly afraid and frightened. So he divided the people, his flocks of animals, into two different camps. But why does the Torah, which is usually very clear and concise with its wording, repeat the fact that Yaakov was fearful for his life two separate times? The Malbim on this pasuk explains that the Torah repeats itself because Yaakov became immensely frightened when he did not trust God to save him. For when he traveled to Lavan in last week's Parsha, Hashem appeared to him unexpectedly and told him that he would protect him until he returns to the land of Canaan. And yet Yaakov did not know if that pledge and assurance were still applicable many years later. So when Yaakov realized that he was questioning the longevity of God's protection, it made him even more worried and fearful. And this is why he began right away to prepare for this reunion physically. First, he split his camp into two, giving one camp a chance to escape. Then he sent Esav many gifts to appease him for stealing the blessings many years before that. And lastly, he turned to God and begged for mercy in the merit of his father Yitzchak and his grandfather Avram Avinu. However, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rav Chaim Ibn Attar, gives a deeper and more profound explanation. He explains that the words the Torah uses teaches us that Yaakov was worried for two different reasons. The term Vayira, and he was fearful, tells us that Yaakov was afraid that Esav would kill him and his family. But the term Vayitzar, and he was frightened, teaches us that Yaakov was anxious and worried that he might have to kill his own brother. And Rabbi Sachs, in his book Covenant and Conversation, writes that Yaakov was facing a challenging moral dilemma. When the messengers returned with the report that Esav had an army with him, Yaakov realized that he might need to protect his family by waging war against Esav, and therefore he might end up killing his own brother during battle. This realization bothered and worried Yaakov, which is why the Torah repeats that Yaakov was afraid. For even Yaakov knew that he would be correct in going to war against Esav, he would still need to live with the fact that he killed his own brother in war. In our daily life, we are confronted with difficult and tough moral dilemmas each and every day because of the world we live in. And the complexities that we face often do not have a desired outcome, making it challenging to come to an answer. And even when we are correct, it doesn't negate or remove the feelings that stem from our decisions. And therefore it is imperative that we be kind and compassionate towards each other even when we are correct. For caring about another human being is the basis of a moral, ethical society. There's an amazing quote that I once heard. The human dilemma is that which arises out of a man's capacity to experience himself as both subject and object at the same exact time. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.